Hello everybody, I am Thanasi, this is Money Shift. We are back with another episode of the Polestar Files. I got the Polestar 2 dual motor with me, and we are going to be doing a 5,000 mile review of this car. I'm going to walk you guys through the likes, the dislikes, and what it's been like to own this car over the past 4 months, but more importantly, 5,000 miles. So without further ado, let's take a walk around, see the car we're working with, and then let's get you guys behind the wheel, and we'll talk about all the tea with the Polestar 2. After 5,000 miles, my 2022 Polestar 2 still looks incredible. This dual motor makes over 400 horse and over 480 pound-feet of torque, all-wheel drive, and it is very fast. And did I mention this thing looks terrific? This taillight just gives this car such a presence both in the day and at night. And Polestar thought ahead. This car is actually a hatchback, unlike some of the other sedans in the space. It gives you a wide opening and it gives you tons of room. Inside, you're looking at premium materials, even though this is a base model, and you're also looking at an operating system by Google. This is a native Android system, and it is remarkably easy to use, and it gives you access to Google Maps both in the dash and in your center infotainment. And again, even though this is a base model, the fit and finish and materials used are just incredible. The back seat gives you plenty of room, but I gotta be honest with you guys, unless you're in that driver's seat, you are gonna feel a little cocooned. Inside that front compartment, I've been keeping my charger cable here, but unlike most non-Tesla EVs, you actually do have some space up here. The Ioniq, the Kia EV6, the ID4, the Q4 e-tron, none of those have a frunk, but the Polestar does. But without further ado, let's close the hood here and let's get behind the wheel of this dual motor Polestar 2. As we pull away from the parking lot in our 2022 Polestar 2 dual motor long-term tester, what are some of the things that caught my eye in the first 5,500 miles? Because let's be honest, while first impressions and reviews are very important, you learn a lot about a car over months and just flat out miles of driving. And we also know that this car competes hand in hand with the Model 3. Both of these cars have similar pricing. Both of them are billed as premium electric sedans. But in this review, the first point goes in favor of the Polestar 2. The fit and finish of this car is truly world-class. Now, while the made in China factor might scare off some, it just shouldn't. This car is built really well, but it isn't all peaches and cream, okay? During my first test drive, I loved the seating orientation of this car. It was a cabin that felt tailored to the driver. It naturally hugged me in and begged me to go for a drive. That said, though, I realize this steering wheel is just far too big for my frame. While I understand that I have the body of an average American at 6 feet, 285 pounds, the fact remains that in order for me to be comfortable in this car, my feet need to be extended at all times. This steering wheel is just that huge. Now, while the material and the feel of the steering wheel are that of a car at this price point, right? This feels like a $50,000 car. The steering wheel also feels like the size of an overall freaking semi. It is massive, especially when you compare it to other vehicles in this segment. As a result, long drives in this car for me is not as comfortable as they could be. And even though I have access to this awesome infotainment system with Google Maps mapped right in, and it functions really well when it works. When it works, you have an awesome system that if you are planning out road trips, helps map in charging stops, much like a Tesla system. But over the 4 months and 5,500 miles that I've been in this car, it has shut down on me 10 times. Now, what do I mean by shut down? There's been multiple times where I have been on drives in this car and I hear absolutely nothing. I don't hear blinkers. I don't hear music. I don't hear alerts. I don't hear radio. I don't hear anything. And it needs a hard reset. Now, I wouldn't be making this point if it had just happened once or twice, because the fact of the matter is, when a car relies so much on the infotainment system, like a Polestar 2, like an Ioniq 5, like a Kia EV6, like all of these cars, resets of that system are just, par for the course. But to have to do it this many times, there's a little bit more bugs than I would like. But that said, an electric car, you get a masterclass of NVH. NVH stands for noise, vibration, and harshness. And it really drives home the noises that a vehicle makes as it moves. Now, in an electric car, there's no engine noise. So as a result, all the other points become more apparent. You hear the creaks, you hear the rattles, you hear the suspension, you hear the wind noise. In a Tesla Model 3, like the one in front of us, or a Model X, like in front of that, you hear the creaks and rattles and loads of wind noise. But in the Polestar 2, you hear nothing but a slight tinge of wind noise. It really is built well. Part of that is due to the materials used. Part of that is due to the fact that the doors are a more conventional sedan shape instead of the Model 3's more coupe-like style. But the fact remains, you could hear a pin drop in this car. That is how quiet it is on the highway. Now, in these 4 months of ownership, I have done 2 lengthy road trips in this car. One was to upstate New York to go to Watkins Glen. The other was to go up north in Maine. And in both of those trips, I had no issue with the charging network. The Charge Point or Electrify America or Flow or whatever I used on those routes worked seamlessly, and this car charged very easily. It really is nice to be able to pull in, plug, go in, get a coffee, come out, it be free because it's an Electrify America station, but also be ready to go. But this also brings up something that you need to be aware of if you are considering a Polestar 2 purchase, and that is what your ability is to charge at home. Now, I do not charge this vehicle at home. Nope, not even one time has this vehicle been plugged into my personal home outlet. Not at all. I leverage the Electrify America free charging that Polestar 2 gives you for 2 years 100% of the time. And as a result, I have paid zero for my fuel costs over these 4 months and over these 5,500 miles, which is pretty awesome, especially when gas is the price that it is at this point. But there is an issue, okay? As we all know, it's well documented the Electrify America charging network just isn't the best. While Tesla superchargers have a low degree of failure, the Electrify America chargers, it truly is a 50-50 shot. There is a big chance that you pull up to a network, as we're pulling up right now, and not every charger is functional, and if it is, it doesn't pull to the degree that it can. As we pull up to this station right now, we'll actually see this in real time. This station has 3 vehicles, okay? A Volkswagen ID4 is in the first stall, and it's not working. It's not charging. That first stall does not work. There is a Kona EV in that second stall. That one is charging. And there's a Tesla in the third slot. Now, there are superchargers here, okay? There are Tesla superchargers here. In fact, there are plenty of them. But a lot of times when there is an Electrify America station in service, the charge that you get out of the stalls that work is free. So that Tesla owner is likely taking advantage of the fact that he can get a free charge instead of having to pay. And that's the difference between these electric vehicles charging systems right now. If I wanted to drive, as I'm driving over right now to the Tesla systems and use theirs because I'm willing to pay, I just need the charge, I can't do that. But right now, the Tesla can use ours. And as a result, it gives the Tesla a lot more freedom when it comes to long trips, road trips, what have you. It just makes their lives easier because the charging network that they have not only is filled with reliable superchargers, but is filled with Electrify America stations thanks to those new adapters. So in summary, my time with the Polestar 2 has been solid. This car is built well. This car drives nice. This car is fast. But the fact of the matter is the charging network right now is leagues behind Tesla. As you can see here, there is one first generation Model S and none of the other stations are being used. I am Thanasi. This is Money Shift. I hope you guys love this content. Hit that like button and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.